Cam approached me and said, here's what we're thinking. He said, what we want to do, and I need you to help us do it, is we want to do two things in this industry. First of all, we want to raise the bar regarding the level of science in our products and the level of rigor when we're demonstrating the benefits and the efficacy. And secondly, what we want to do is create an entire new category in skincare.
Hello, welcome back to the Technology of Beauty, where we interview the movers and shakers of the beauty business. And today we have a big mover and shaker, Diane Goostree, who's the CEO of Alastin Skincare. Welcome, Diane.
Thank you, Grant. I'm very happy to be here. I appreciate you inviting me, and I'm looking forward to our chat.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to have you. I've been trying to get Diane on the program for so long, and what you're going to hear today is absolutely revolutionary. Alastin, you may or may not know, is the #1 fastest growing skincare company in the country. Isn't that right?
That is so true. We have been the fastest growing professional skincare company for the past 3 years. So it's very exciting.
Very exciting. And I know it's on my face right now. Your products are.
I love to
I
hear
don't
that.
go a day without them for years. So before we get to Alastin and before we get to this wonderful technology, I'd like to first ask you to tell us about yourself. How did you get into the beauty business? Go all the way back to the beginning.
All the way back to the beginning.
Yes.
That's a long way.
Okay, well, how about after college? Or...
Okay, we'll do that.
Okay.
So I'm actually a Midwestern gal. I was born in Chicago, grew up in Wichita and Kansas City on the Kansas side. And I got my degree in chemical engineering and then an MBA. Worked for a couple of chemical companies, DuPont and Bayer for a while. And then my first entree into pharmaceuticals was in Kansas City in a company called Marion Laboratories. It was one of the first specialty pharmaceutical companies. So what that means is instead of research, development, and marketing, it's licensing, development, and marketing.
Okay.
So everything's in-licensed. So that was a great opportunity for me. And one of the reasons I really liked it is it was started by an entrepreneur who started the business not in his garage, but in Kansas City you have basements. So he started it in his basement and grew it to about a $2 billion company. And his name was Ewing Marion Kaufman. And he's created a foundation called the Kaufman Foundation that helps to support entrepreneurs. It works with venture capital, and it really encourages people to start companies. So that was a wonderful way for me to see how someone could build a company. From there, we eventually were acquired because we got so large, and that happens in pharma. And eventually were acquired, and the company became part of Sanofi. So after that, that was about the time that biotech companies were really taking off and startup companies, and a lot of them in San Diego and San Francisco. And I came to San Diego to join another specialty pharma company called Dura Pharmaceuticals. And the chairman there was Cam Garner, and he is our chairman at Alastin Skincare. So that's kind of my connection way back then with our chairman. And that was a very entrepreneurial company too. Cam started that from scratch, and eventually we built that to a company that sold for about $2 billion to Elan. And the last transaction we worked on there was we looked at the entire dermatology business. And so we were very interested in getting into dermatology, and Cam had started many, many pharmaceutical companies. And this time he thought, well, let's do something different. Let's see if Diane will join me. And he and I and several other executives went to SkinMedica to help them get started up. And so that was about 2001. And we worked with Dr. Richard Fitzpatrick, whom I'm sure you know.
Absolutely.
Right? Dr. Fitz.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was my experience at that time. I think Dr. Fitz, of course, was an entrepreneur and an inventor and really involved in innovation, helped to develop a lot of lasers, and also started one of the first cosmeceutical or physician dispensed companies. At the time I joined and Cam Garner joined, I think they had only about $100,000 in sales. I think I was employee maybe number 5. And so it was a great opportunity for me to learn how to start and build a skincare company. And that company, as you probably know, went from, nothing to about $60 million and then was acquired by Allergan eventually. Mm-hmm. So great experience for me to learn about how to start a company from scratch, how the aesthetics business works, get to know the physicians, and the customers, the patients. And from there, I had other experiences. I went on to Artis Medical, which became Suniva. I took that company public, was involved in some more startups. And then Cam Garner called me in 2015, and he said, we're starting a new skincare company. It's called Alastin Skincare, and I want you to come be the CEO. And that's what I did. And it's been an exciting ride ever since.
So you've been running Alastin as the CEO for the last 5 years.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been incredible. Cam approached me and said, here's what we're thinking. He said, what we want to do, and I need you to help us do it, is we want to do 2 things in this industry. First of all, we want to raise the bar regarding the level of science in our products and the level of rigor when we're demonstrating the benefits and the efficacy. And secondly, what we want to do is create an entire new category in skincare. Now, as you know, at that time or in early, 2010, pretty much all of the physician-dispensed skincare was daily skincare. And what we did was we created products and an entirely new category, which was procedure enhancement topical products. Uh-huh. And we launched our first product in 2015, and that might even be what's on your face right now. You'll have to tell me.
Are you referring to the Nectar?
I'm referring to the Nectar.
I wear it every day.
All right. I love to hear that.
Yeah,
I love to hear that.
So tell us what makes Nectar different.
Right.
Was that your first product?
Nectar was the first product, absolutely, on our procedure business. We launched the procedure skincare line in 2015,
right.
And then we launched daily skincare in 2016. And just to talk a little bit about why you need a Nectar, why you need a procedure product. Mm-hmm. So one of the things we saw, and you experienced it, you're right there in the forefront of it, is the rise of minimally invasive procedures.
Right.
And that was things like fractionated laser and radiofrequency microneedling and cryotherapy, Coolsculpting, and ultrasound. And all of those technologies were coming out, but there were no topical products that could prepare a patient's skin for that procedure or help them heal or help them get the best outcomes. So that's what we designed Nectar for. And we started out with laser treatments, and the patients pre-treat before they have their laser procedure. They can use it immediately afterwards. It helps them heal, and they get the best outcomes. And we've been able to demonstrate that. And so it really enhances the patient journey and helps the skin heal. So it's just created a whole new category, and we've been able to expand the professional skincare market with it.
Well, I know from personal experience with the Cyton Halo and BBL, my pre-treated side of my face with Nectar and post-treatment treated with Nectar healed faster. And this goes back years ago.
Yes.
Probably 4 years ago, at least.
You were one of the first, yes.
And I split my face because I was skeptical, frankly. Your people told me this, and I thought, I don't know about this Trihex technology. But you know what? Since then, every time we do any resurfacing or minimally invasive procedure like you're talking about, we always pre-treat with the Nectar. So it's based on the Trihex technology, right?
That's correct.
Why don't you tell our listeners just what the Trihex technology is about? What does that actually do in the cells and in the skin?
Absolutely. So Trihex technology is our basic technology platform that we use both in our procedure products and in our daily skincare products. And it's a peptide-based technology. And what it does is it acts on 2 of the main building blocks of the skin that we all know about, collagen and elastin. So you want your skin to be nice and smooth and plump, and you want to be able to snap back after you move and not have wrinkles left. So basically what it does is we identified a number of peptides and other key ingredients that actually go in and help the skin do what it naturally does, which is to repair itself from any injury. So if you think about it, your skin is always being subjected to injury from, let's say, the sun, from pollution, just from intrinsic aging. So when that happens, the collagen and elastin that's there in your skin gets damaged. And your skin can normally try to recycle that and make new collagen and elastin. But as we get a little bit older, the skin's not that good at it. So what the Trihex does is it steps in there and kind of gooses everything up and says, okay, I'm going to help you, skin. I'm going to work on that fibroblast. I'm going to help you clear out the old collagen and elastin, going to help you make new collagen and elastin. And if you do that in a pre-treating way, your skin is really cleared out and is ready to receive the treatment, whether it's a laser or a radiofrequency or whatever it is. And then the Nectar then being used right after a procedure. It's anhydrous, so there's no stinging, no burning. It's very soothing. People say it feels like silk, Basically, again, it immediately helps you to recover after that procedure, because what a procedure does, as you well know, is it's deliberately damaging your skin to tell it to make more collagen and elastin.
Sure.
And that's what the Nectar does.
Fantastic. And I'm a big fan, and I use it after the procedures. And as I told you, I happen to use it every day. But that's not the recommended one. Which is the one that you recommend for ongoing daily treatment?
So many people do like and use the Nectar, and the regenerating skin Nectar can be used for daily use as well as with a procedure. But our flagship anti-aging and daily skincare product is called Restorative Skin Complex. And that has the similar amounts of Trihex in it, but it has a little bit more moisturizing effect, and it also has a little bit of plumping effect. A lot of people really would like to, as they get a little bit older, provide a little bit more plumping in the face. And so that's what our Restorative Skin Complex does. So that's our number one seller on the daily skincare side.
Now, how can you prove it plumps? Do you have histology that can convince me of that? What's plumping, and can we see it on a microscope or a picture?
So the plumping comes from a couple of different mechanisms. First of all, by generating more collagen and elastin, the skin is going to fill out more. And we have been able to show, both with, again, in line with our view of generating the most robust set of scientific, clinical, non-clinical data, we've been able to show with gene expression, with biopsies, with in vitro studies, and then with clinical studies, that we do generate more collagen and more elastin very quickly, and that helps with some plumping. With the Restorative Skin Complex, we also have some other ingredients that act on the adipocytes and help to plump them up slightly. So we get both kind of a dual effect there. But you can see the result in clinical trials. We've done photography, we've done patient feedback, we've done blinded physician assessments, and we do see the smoothing, the plumping, and then of course with the biopsies, we see the collagen and the elastin.
Right. Okay. So that takes us now to, let's talk about the Transform, because that's something I was a part of with our Coolsculpting patients.
Yes.
And again, I was sort of skeptical. I'm a born skeptic when it comes to this. And now every single patient we do Coolsculpting on for body contouring, we start them on Transform. And then after that, we started using them on tummy tucks and liposuction, thanks to Lori Cassis and others who showed me that it actually is effective. So tell us about Transform. First of all, how did you come up with the idea, or did you, or who did? And then tell us what it does.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you. So one of the things we do as a group is we meet on an ongoing basis and we monitor what's going on in the aesthetics area from a procedure perspective. So what procedures are growing, what new devices are coming out. And as you know, probably better than almost anyone, Coolsculpting has been exploding over the last few years, and you've been part of that. So both Coolsculpting and other ways to shape the body or reduce fat or tighten skin. But as we looked at that procedure, and again, you know this very well, you treat the patient, you kill some of the fat cells, but then the patient has to wait for 1, 2, 3 months for those fat cells to be cleared from the body naturally through the lymphatic system. So we thought maybe there are two ways that we can help the patient. One would be, they not only want to lose fat, they want to have nice, smooth skin. So if we can provide our Trihex that basically generates that collagen and elastin, helps to tighten the skin, it's going to look better after you actually lose the fat. So we put Trihex in there, and then we said, what else can we do to help the body, again, working with the body's natural process to try to help the body get rid of this fat a little bit faster. So we looked at a number of different compounds. We did a number of in vitro and preclinical studies to look at what the mechanism would have to be to help the body get rid of these dead fat cells. So basically, we found that the body gets rid of them through a process, which I know you know about because you spoke with us and we brainstormed together, called autophagy, which means that when you have any sort of a damaged or dead cell in the body, the body wants to get rid of it. So you've got these damaged fat cells, the body wants to get rid of it. The process is autophagy or lipophagy, and we found some ingredients that actually showed in vitro that it would speed up the process, that would speed up the way that the body normally does it. So that was the concept behind it. We talked with you about it, and we all said that sounds good, but does it work?
Yeah.
And so that's when we went back and started trying to figure out, how can you really prove this? And it's tough because how do you prove it? You're looking at volumes on the arms or the abdomen. And so what we did was we worked with Quantificare, which and they have a 3D camera set up that actually can measure volume. So we took someone who was treated on, let's say, both sides of the abdomen with Coolsculpting. We put our Transform Body product on one side. We put a moisturizer on the other side. And then we took a picture at baseline, let them use the products for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, took another picture and just let the software calculate in the area where it was treated, which one lost more volume. So obviously nothing that a physician is assessing visually, it's actually calculated by validated software. And we started to see results as early as 6 weeks. And you've seen the data. We've done it in multiple clinical studies.
Right.
And it's pretty amazing to see the difference in the color between, and it's blue or it's red depending upon more or less volume. So we've used a new technology that had not been used before to look at volume changes in the body. And so Transform Body has really taken off, and people love it, both to help with the fat loss, but also to tighten the skin there, or even without a procedure, people use it for crepey skin or just very dry and aged skin. Mm-hmm. So that's been, again, one of our products we've paired with procedures that has been quite a hit. And I'm glad to hear that you like it, you're using it, and your patients are seeing results.
Absolutely. And in the arms especially, mm-hmm. and the thighs. And mm-hmm. when people come in and complain about crepey skin, or when we do Coolsculpting on the arms, it's remarkable. Again, you turned a skeptic into a believer.
That's the best kind.
Okay, so that takes me to HydroTint.
Yes.
Tell us the story of HydroTint,
which
is generally on my face every day.
All right.
But I must confess, I didn't put it on today.
All right.
I came right to the studio. But tell us about HydroTint.
As long as you didn't get out in the sun.
Not yet.
All right. So actually one of our very popular products, I'd say more on the beauty side, even more so than the general aesthetic side, is our HydroTint sunscreen. And basically, I think we have the best formulator around. It's John Garudo. He's a cosmetic chemist who developed all of the Skin Medica products. He's developed all of our products. And he's just a wizard. He's just a guru when it comes to taking these ingredients and putting them together. And so what we wanted to do was to develop a physical sunscreen. As you know, people are moving towards physical instead of chemical. But also one that didn't cause the ghosting that you see sometimes with the clear or the white ones.
The chalky white face.
Yeah. So what we did was put just a hint of a tint, and we picked one that works with almost all skin tones, not everyone, but probably 90%, and it just fades in. But what kind of the secret is that he has a special kind of titanium and zinc that is micronized, and the particle size is such that it just catches the light and you kind of glow with it. And that's what people love. A lot of women put it on instead of a foundation. You can go out, feel you're protected from the sun. It looks great. It blends easily, and it's won so many awards from Allure and New Beauty and all of the beauty magazines, and people just love it. So that's Hydrotint, and it's a great product, and I'm glad you normally wear it.
Yes, I do. Okay. Now, many of us have injections, and all of the physicians watching this program, we do injections of fillers and modulators or neurotoxins. And probably, aside from maybe someone complaining of the needle stick, probably the number one reported, if you will, complication or outcome would be bruising. It's typically a few days, sometimes a little bit longer, and some people bruise more than others. Maybe they're on aspirin or other things that cause them to bruise a little bit more.
Had a glass of wine the night before.
Okay, something like that, right? And we like to minimize or mitigate bruising.
Yeah.
And then you come to market and you tell us you have another product that somehow is going to make the bruising go away. And that's called Enhance, right?
Enhance, that's right.
Right. And you've partnered with some industry partners that have fillers and so forth. Tell us about Enhance. First of all, how does it work? And how do you use it?
Absolutely. So that's really our latest launch. That was launched back in January of this year. And again, following with our plan of only bringing to market new and innovative products with our patented technology behind it. It has a patent already that's issued. We looked at this particular procedure of injections, primarily dermal fillers, but also with toxins. And what we saw, just as you said, is the main complaint is with some patients, but often almost everyone has a little bit of bruising,
right,
and some swelling. And so we said, well, what can we do to help address that? And so we looked at technologies that could help reduce the bruising or help speed the healing of the bruise. Let's put it that way. The bruise is going to happen, depending upon the injection method and also, of course, the individual patient. But what we want to do is speed up the process of that bruise healing naturally. So again, we went back and looked at what does the body do to get rid of that bruise. It's clearing out those blood cells that are under the skin, and we identified some ingredients that really had not been used before in these types of products. And we did some in vitro studies showing that it actually clears out the excess red blood cells that are caused by the bruising from the injection. And so we did that first in vitro and demonstrated that. And then we worked to develop a study design where, the toughest thing is, as you know, is to have two equivalent bruises because we wanted to compare.
Right.
So we tried several different techniques and finally found a way to basically bruise on the arms. We bruised on both arms, made sure that the bruises were as similar as possible, and then again used our product on one side, used a moisturizer on the other side, so it's not a matter of massage. And then we used, again, not just a visual assessment, we used a colorimeter that actually calculated the blue and the red. So that's something I think is important. I think with professionally dispensed skincare products or any kind of skincare products, sometimes people say, well, someone just assessed that and said, on a scale of 1 to 5, it looks very good or fair. And people can question that.
Right.
But with this, again, it's a colorimeter. It's a device with validated software, and that's the kind of data we generated. And then we launched it among first our top accounts like yourself. Got some feedback from you all and feedback from your patients, and everyone said, this is really making a difference. And then we launched it nationally. So people are using it primarily for dermal fillers, but we're starting to see that they use it in other ways. We're looking at potentially using it for other types of devices or treatments. Some people are using it after surgery to reduce bruising. So that's the latest product. We have been asked by some of the larger companies in the space who have dermal fillers if we would partner with them on some co-promotions, and we have done that. It's been very well received. But our product's being used across really every dermal filler that's I think sold and injected in the U.S. So it's been a great product for us, and I'm glad to hear you like it and you tried it early on.
I've also used it with my blepharoplasty patients.
Yes.
And when people show up with a bruise on their face, maybe after a facelift, and I'll say, I give it to them and say, put this on. and I usually tell them to put it on a couple times a day. I've always wondered if pre-treatment with it would help at all. Is there any evidence that, like with the Nectar, the pre-treatment helps? Is there any evidence that pre-treatment with Enhance would help minimize bruising or accelerate the resolution of bruising?
Yeah, it's a good question. We haven't actually studied that yet. Because our view was, you needed to have the bruise to actually address it. But it is possible that you could perhaps build up a reservoir in the skin of some of the active ingredients and be able to have a faster resolution. So that's possible. And the other thing I wanted to mention about Enhance, it also has Trihex technology in it. So when people are getting dermal filler injection, it's typically hyaluronic acid, and they're looking for plumping of the skin and more collagen development in their skin. So if you have a topical product that's, again, helping with collagen and elastin, and we've shown that within the 1 to 2 weeks that people usually use Enhance, even that quickly, it has made a difference in the biopsies with collagen. So all those coming together, the reduction in bruising, reduction in swelling, which we demonstrated with our volumization camera, and also the development of collagen and elastin, all those coming together make it a great product that's synergistic with dermal fillers. And we're looking, as you said, for potential new indications for use of it.
That's fantastic. You mentioned something earlier. I'm kind of curious. Can patients or can people buy this anywhere, or is this physician dispensed? The whole Alastin line. You mentioned it sounded like it's only physicians.
It is. We're focused on the physician dispense channel, and those are the only people that we sell to directly with our sales reps. We have about 50 reps in the field. We do have our own website so that patients can go there. Let's say they need a refill, and we ask them to designate their physician so their physician gets credit for the purchase. We also, and this was something we really geared up on when COVID hit and physicians' offices closed, what we did was got together and brainstormed and said, how can we help our physician partners if their offices are closed? And we said, well, their offices may be closed, but they can email their patients. Their patients can buy skincare. And so we developed over 2,000, we have over 2,000 accounts, 2,000 microsites and custom URLs that basically is just a little area that you can put in a link. You can put in a email to your patients. You can put it in your social media. You can put it on your website. The patient clicks on it. It can go straight to our website. We'll fulfill the order for them, and our software will automatically give the physician credit. And there were a number of physicians who generated quite a bit of revenue during, the weeks and months that they were closed down. So we do have the website, but it is focused towards, again, supporting physicians with reorders, or if the patient can't get in, that sort of thing. That's really our focus is physicians. We create turnkey marketing materials, as you know, that you can blast out to your email list.
I've used them.
Social media, all of that. That's really where our focus is. Yes.
That's fantastic. So tell us about the effects of COVID on the business. And you mentioned the online sales. I got that. But overall sales, I'm sure, had to have gone down at least for a while. How are you looking as a company? You were doubling every year for the last 3 years.
That's
I think, right?
We were.
And now we have COVID, and we've been dealing with this for 6 months or so, right?
Exactly.
How is Alastin doing?
So, at Alastin, as you said, we were really on a roll. I mean, we were doubling every year. Fastest growing skincare company for 3 years in a row in the professional space. We actually were awarded the Inc. 500 fastest companies. That's across all industries, not just the aesthetic or the beauty industry, but fastest growing company in the U.S. in the top 500. And also a Forbes award for one of the best startup companies to work at. So it was incredible and a lot of fun. And we have an incredible team. And then COVID hit. And of course, everyone was affected by that. And all of our physician partners shut down, which meant our B2B sales went almost to zero, which is understandable. But what we did, as I mentioned, is we pivoted to help physicians drive their patients to order online so that we could fulfill directly to them. And when that happened, our online business more than doubled. And that was during the months of April and May. Okay. And so that was really due to physicians sending their patients to us. So we still had an overall dip in business, of course, because most of our business is directly to physicians. But when we look at June, July, and August, I was looking at that the other day. For those 3 months, our sales this year compared to our sales last year, we not only met that level of sales, we are running 35% above our sales last year.
Is that right?
Yes. So even with COVID, we have recovered now. We've reached out to our accounts. We've of course respect how they would like us to come into the office in a safe way. We observe their protocols, but we work with them. We do online trainings. We do virtual trainings, and the business has just taken off. And I think that's what we're seeing is that due to COVID, people really can't travel very much. They can't go out to dinner as much as they used to. They're looking at themselves on Zoom and seeing things they never saw before. And from what I'm hearing from physicians like yourself, you're probably busier than ever. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're seeing with skincare too. We've bounced back beyond where we were last year. So it's exciting times. We want to continue to help our physician customers, and we're continuing to grow.
That's fantastic. I want to go back to online sales.
Mm-hmm.
You said that it picked up,
mm-hmm.
and I think you said it doubled in mm-hmm. the first month. I think you said April.
Mm-hmm.
What's happened since then? So as people have come back into the office, have your online sales continued at that high rate? Have they gone higher? Have they come back down to baseline?
Yeah.
What's going on?
That's a good question. And actually, I was on a call with several other industry executives, and there were some other skincare companies. I think it was actually SkinCeuticals. And we saw the same thing they did, which is our online sales were, let's say at 100% going into COVID. Okay. They jumped up to 200% for 2 or 3 months, and now they've come down to about 150%. So they have dropped back down, but not all the way to baseline. And what that tells me is that physicians saw the value of utilizing basically our website as kind of an auto shipping process where they can get product out to their patients on an ongoing basis. The patients can refill without having to come into the office in case they're, a little worried they don't have an appointment. And so physicians saw the value of that, and we're seeing increased physician designation sales. That's what we're seeing. So it's exciting.
So a couple questions come to mind. First of all, can they have a subscription? Could they have a drop ship every month or every couple months? Can they set up a regular distribution? Can the physician or can the patient do that online?
So that's a great question, and that's a question we have heard from other people. And actually, that is high on our list right now to implement. And we're going to implement it so that patients can select it when they log on. And again, the physician is automatically designated. And every time that patient purchases again, either on their own or through the auto ship process, the physician will be designated and will receive the credit. And we're also looking at how we can provide that opportunity to physicians in their office. That if you sell someone the restorative skin complex for their daily skincare, you can give them a card that maybe has a little something to scan that says, go here and you can sign up for an auto ship. And again, you'll get credit for that. So we're in the process of implementing that.
I
Absolutely.
think that'd be really convenient for the patient as well as the physician.
Yes,
because
exactly.
Then I'm not going to have to keep the inventory and deal with all that and added expenses and so forth. Now, what if a patient or a person watches this program and wants to try Alastin and doesn't have a physician that they're going to? Can they go online and still purchase it?
So what we do on our website is we let consumers or patients know that we believe Alastin should be utilized under the guidance of a physician. Okay. And we recommend that they visit a physician near them. And we have a physician locator so they can put in their zip code and we will help them find a physician near them and recommend that they go there. If they don't go there, they can purchase on the website directly. But again, we are recommending throughout the entire process that they go to a physician for guidance. And so, the vast majority of our sales are through physicians. We do have some situations where, it's sort of white space in the U.S. We're just not there. We don't have a physician near where someone lives. And certainly we would allow those patients to purchase. But our goal is to continue to build our physician side of the business, both by working directly with the physicians so they can carry inventory in their office, provide it to their patients, and allow their patients to come through our website with designation and so that they can get credit for that.
Well, that gives me a marketing idea. I think I want to find the white spaces and go educate them to use 90292 in Marina Del Rey and Marina Plastic Surgery and Med Spa, and then I'll get credit for them.
You would. They can designate whoever they wish. And if you're the person who gave them the idea to get Alastin, even if they have not come to their office, your office, they can designate you.
Well,
Absolutely.
That's terrific.
Yes.
I like that idea.
Yes.
So if you want some Alastin and you don't have a doctor, you can always put my name in,
yes,
and I'd be happy to have them ship it to you. Okay, well, that's very interesting. Well, I'd like to ask you about your crystal ball now. And before actually predicting the future for all of aesthetics, can you share with us any secrets about what we can expect? What's clear to me is Alastin is built on science, your company. You identify a problem, and then you solve it, whether or not it's bruising and swelling, or if it's fat after fat treatment, or if it's problems with collagen and elastin. I can see that you're a science-based company. You're not just a flim-flam marketing company. You see a problem, you use scientific method, and you solve it. And I'm certain you must have seen other problems. Now, I'm not sure if you can tell us, but is there any insight you can share with us about the future?
Well, of course, Grant, if I told you, it wouldn't be a secret, but I will hint at it. How about that? About that?
Okay.
So you're absolutely right. Again, we have a great team. We have a great formulator. We have a great chief medical officer. That's Dr. Alan Widgerow, the plastic surgeon, which
I know
near and dear to your heart.
Absolutely, a great guy and a great plastic surgeon and scientist.
And a great basic scientist.
Yes.
So
he's at UC Irvine.
Yes, he is. He runs a tissue engineering center there.
Right.
So lots of wonderful experience in wound healing. And so one of the things we're looking at is, as you mentioned, Dr. Lori Cassis did a study showing that after surgery, when patients use some combination of our products, they can recover more quickly. They can, because they're going to have bruising, they're going to have swelling, they're going to have induration, they're going to have oftentimes some, fat cells that were killed in the process. If it's liposuction or tummy tuck or something like that. So we are, looking at how we could better serve the surgeon community. And so that's something we're looking at. That's all I can say on that topic for now.
Okay.
But the other thing I'd like to say is we also are looking to expand our footprint internationally and from a geographic perspective. So we are actually going to be launching in Canada before the end of this year. We're very excited about that. We've actually been working with Dr. Jean Carruthers, one of the inventors of Botox, along with her husband Alistair, and working.
Both friends.
Yes,
and
they're wonderful
published
people.
Papers together.
Wonderful
and they're a ton
people.
of fun and very bright.
Yes, exactly.
So you're working with the Carruthers.
We are. So we'll be launching in Canada before the end of the year. And we're also looking at other areas outside of the U.S. And stay tuned. We will let you know as things proceed. But we've had a lot of interest from potential partners in other countries and other regions. So that's something we're looking at. And beyond all of that, what we'll do then is continue to go, penetrate deeper with the existing procedures we're using, that are using our products, physicians are using our products with, but also we're always on the lookout for any new procedures or devices entering the market, or devices or procedures that are on the market we haven't yet generated data to demonstrate benefits with. So we have a number of those things too, either in clinical trials or under consideration. So there's a lot of potential out there. And our daily skincare continues to grow. It uses that same Trihex technology platform. So basically, it's a very natural way of helping the skin repair itself, look as young as you feel. And so both sides of our business are growing very rapidly. But we're going to continue with our focus on high levels of science in our products, very ethical marketing and close connections to our physician customers and partners.
I love it. That's fantastic. So, before we close, You've been in the beauty business for a long time.
Yes.
This is the technology of beauty. You mentioned emerging technologies that you may want to help with your skincare company with Alastin. Tell our viewers if you have any ideas of what's aesthetics going to look like in a year, 5 years, 10 years. Have you had any insights at your crystal ball?
So that's a good question. I do think, and I'm sure you're very much in the loop on this, that there are a number of new energy-based devices that are in the works, and that whole segment of the market may slow down just a little bit for a year or so with COVID, just because I think physicians may be monitoring their cash flow and as far as purchasing new equipment. But there are new devices that are coming to the market that will look at things like melasma, hyperpigmentation, cellulite, as you know, and a number of different areas. So anytime we see something kind of on the fringes of getting ready to come to the market and come to launch, we like to learn about that, and we think about how we can partner with that and provide enhanced benefits for physicians and for their patients, and basically grow the physician-dispensed skincare market. So that provides additional revenue for physicians, and it provides better outcomes for patients. So not sure I can get into any specifics, but just to say, I know there's a lot of new technology out there. We monitor it very closely, and any device, any procedure can always be enhanced, and that's something that we focus on doing and plan to continue to do that as we grow the company and as we see the growth of the aesthetic industry.
That's fantastic, and you've done such a great job of it. I hope you do help us with cellulite and stretch marks and skin tightening.
Yes.
Those are areas we certainly need all the help we can get. Well, I want to thank you very much for joining us here and sharing all this insight about your wonderful company, Alastin. I hope you stay at the helm and keep developing new products with science and rigorous investigations. So thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Grant. This was a lot of fun. I appreciate the opportunity to participate today and appreciate all of your support as part of the industry, too. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you all for joining us today on the Technology of Beauty, where we had the chance to get to know Diane Goostree, the CEO of Alastin. And we got some insight into just what they do at Alastin and why it's such a wonderful company and why it's growing so fast. Be sure to join us every other Tuesday here at the Technology of Beauty. Take care.